Vital things to know before buying a houseboat in United Kingdom. Living in a houseboat is a lifestyle that is being embraced by recently retired people to big city young professionals seeking a less stressful life. There has been a sharp increase in the number of people living in houseboats in the UK. With the cost of housing being unattainable for growing numbers of young people, living on the water has become an affordable and fun alternative. Riverboat living appears to be going through something of a boom, after a leading marine finance lender reported a steep rise in demand for live aboard vessels. Boat numbers nationwide have increased by 6% to 34,573 since 2012 and, in London, have soared by 84% to 4,274. The demand since lockdown was lifted has been unprecedented. Houseboat sales are up 800% on last year. Asking buyers what is motivating their purchase, many cite that they have come to realize life is short and they want a different and better quality of life. If you are seriously considering swapping your flatter boat for on-the-water living, it is important to think less about the romance of it all and more about the practicalities. Floating homes come with a surprisingly long list of administrative and financial factors to consider, and more than a little hard work. You have the freedom to explore the UK's waterways and, if you like a place, stay for a bit. If not, simply chug along to a new destination. If you yearn for an outdoorsy lifestyle where you can bond with nature, houseboat living has strong appeal. Looking for an alternative second home for weekends, this could be the answer. A houseboat gives you the opportunity to live in city centres or exclusive postcodes at a fraction of local bricks and mortar prices. If you choose to continuously cruise, rather than paying for a permanent mooring, you may find getting to work a challenge as you are constantly changing location. There were, of course, many adjustments to be made in moving from fixed property to a houseboat, including making sure there are amenities nearby and, of course, that he always had electricity, gas, water and fuel. Jason freely admits that his unusual living choice might not be for everyone. A young professional, Jason had been living in a small studio flat on a main road in Acton, on his own, and he hated everything about the place. The flat was small, the rent was expensive and noise from the road had been a constant issue. After going on summer holiday with friends, Jason realized how much he had enjoyed his time out in nature on the water and suddenly dreamed the beginnings of a new life for himself. Returning back from his summer holiday, he have realized that living and renting a studio flat just was not enjoyable anymore. He did not want to move into another rental in 6 months. He is not a huge city lover and he had been in London for 10 years. Jason said, "I was never going to buy a house or flat in London, so I was inspired by the houseboat concept. It is cheap enough, I could stay close to London in the countryside." Jason began his search hunting around various boating websites before finding one that suited his needs and, after a long period of research, he made his purchase through a broker in Cambridge. He started living on the boat in February and had many ups and downs. Plenty of ups included drinking lots of beer with friends, and I even once did a trip with a friend where we traveled for 10 hours and stopped along the side for lunches. For Jason, getting to see some of the beautiful countryside surrounding London was a real highlight. While he had to commute into the city for work via tube and train, getting to spend time in nature along the riverside and working on his boat made it all worth it. "My boat has everything a studio flat had, space for all my clothing, internet and TV," Jason told us. "You can only live in one place for 2 weeks, which is all part of the fun, so you are forced to move around and travel and see everything you can." One testing moment came during Jason's first week on board the boat, where the realities of the unpredictable British weather hit him hard. "The first week moving onto the boat we had the beast from the east hit us," he remembers. "It was a tough time, but luckily inside my boat was warm because I had a log fire going and recently had my heating replaced." If Jason's story sounds like something you might want to look into yourself, he has a few words share before you do. It is very hard work to maintain a houseboat. You need to be patient and realistic and just know that things always take longer than you ever anticipate them taking, he warns. It can become quite lonely and it is easier if you live with one other person so you can share the responsibilities. There is always something that needs to be done on a boat, from engine servicing to treating rust spots, not to mention emptying the toilet and filling the water tank. Limited space is a disadvantage. Boats need to be small enough to navigate compact locks and canals, so you may have to radically downsize your possessions. Make sure it's the right size, be flexible and be prepared for things to take longer than you anticipate. You need to have the right mindset and you will have the best unique experience. Marina communities are renowned for being welcoming and close-knit, similar to living in a small village. If you are in a couple, you'll have to adapt to living on top of one another and, if village-style communities aren't your thing, marina life may feel a little too close-knit for comfort. Typical costs of buying a houseboat. Prices depend on the type of craft you choose and whether it's in pristine condition or in need of a revamp. From traditional narrowboats and converted Dutch to true houseboat, any former tug, ferry or fishing vessel has the scope to be converted into a floating home. The average normal price of a houseboat is between £250,000 and £450,000, although you may find a used one for less than £75,000. Used houseboats, however, are not always perfect and can be plagued with problems. So it's more important than ever that you take your time and thoroughly check and consider every prospect. A houseboat has its own stories and history that the owner will know about. Figure out if the houseboat has ever shown signs of possible engine problems, or if things have had to have been replaced on the houseboat. If you are making a large purchase like this, make sure that you are getting the whole picture. Besides the actual boat itself, there are additional costs, depending on its and how you use your boat. Houseboats are exempt from stamp duty, but if are opting for a permanent mooring, there is council tax to pay. Canal and river trust licenses. There are 3, 6 and 12-month options ranging from £500 to £1,100 depending on the length of your boat. As an idea, a 40-feet vessel is just over £700 per year. A boat needs to be licensed, insured and have a valid boat safety scheme certificate. This costs approximately £150 per year, plus the cost of any repairs. Policy prices vary depending on the kind of cover you need, but start from around £200 a year. Mooring fees. Depending on where you live, these can be from around £2,000 a year in some regions to as much as £18,000 in London. Mooring can be either residential, which allows you to live on your boat full-time, or leisure, which limits the time to a few days a week. The best moorings are fully serviced with water, fuel, a sewerage facility and power. It's best to find a mooring before buying a boat, or see if the craft you're purchasing comes with the transfer of the mooring it's currently on. Generally, boat loans have a higher level of interest than house loans, anywhere from 6% to 15%, and a 20% deposit is not uncommon. If you can buy your houseboat outright, then it is a wise financial decision. Fuel and heating cost depend on how much you intend to travel and how cozy you like to be. Starting from around £10 a week on wood for a log-burning stove. Is houseboat a good investment? Unlike house, boat tends to depreciate in value, so if you want to make a return on your investment, canalside living might not be for you. Most boats will have a finite life and need ongoing maintenance to ensure they are seaworthy and fit for purpose. These costs increase with age, and eventually some boats will need to be scrapped. However, it is also possible to increase the value of a boat if you are willing to spend on improving it. As the boat ages and it gets closer to its out-of-water survey dates and hull maintenance dates, the value of the boat will decrease. However, after those things happen, an increase in value will occur. Thank you for watching the video. If you watch all my lectures, you may be able to start investing in rental properties a little quicker. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell to get alerts when a new video is posted. Please write your comments, questions, or concerns you would like to share.